one of the first things, and this has always been my go-to since I was a little girl, I'm like, well, let me read every possible book on financial literacy, money, investing that I possibly can. So I took maybe 3 years, and all that I read were books about money and business. And what was interesting is I thought going in, it was going to be like, okay, this is what you need to do to make money. This is, how many hours you need to work. This is how you invest. But one common thing that all those books had in common was about how you think, how you speak, mindsets, affirmations, like all of this stuff that wasn't really tangible. And I'm like, these are all different authors, all different cultures, backgrounds, geographic areas, and they're all saying the same thing. So there must be something to this. So that kind of educating myself on financial literacy was the first step. Because if you think back to our upbringing, in Detroit Public Schools was my education, but then I went to some really great universities. Never was there a class on how to balance a checkbook, how to invest, how to save. So those were things I had to teach myself. And then once I kind of got the academic or cerebral piece of it, if you will, it was like, okay, what actions do I need to take? What habits, what behaviors, or what do I need to stop doing to really make these shifts that I want to see? So the second step is funny because you always hear these cliches in life and you think, oh, well, but they're true. So the first cliche I always heard was that focus starts with follow one course until successful. That's right. And I, before that, I'm like, if I want to make a lot of money, I got to have 10 jobs, right? So I spread my energy everywhere. You knew this. I was an author. I had a podcast. I was an actress. I was modeling. I was doing all these things, real estate development. But what happened was everything was only getting 10%, 20%, 15%. So I said, what if, even just for 1 year, I just focused on my skill and my talent of youth development consulting, because that's what my education was in, training and facilitating workshops and coaching adults that work with youth to help them run high quality programming. So the year that I said, I'm just going to do that, I'm dropping everything else, that's when I started to see, without even trying, my income increase and increase. Now I can keep going, but do you want to ask anything from there? Yeah, so that was step 2, following the good old cliche of focus, following one course until successful. Because I remember actually seeing Tyler Perry talk about that on a video, and I'm like, yeah, right, you don't know what you're talking about. You have to have like 10 different things going. But his point was that focus on that one thing that gets you stabilized. And then when you have that extra flow, then you can begin to invest and focus on other things. So the other thing that naturally started to happen as I began to focus and shift and work on the internal things was that another cliche, the 5 people you spend the most time around. And what I realized is that my friends and all the energy I was putting into them and those relationships and the things they were interested in and focused on was not necessarily serving where I wanted to be. And it's true, if I added up all of their income and divided it by 5 or 10 or however many people I was hanging out with, that would have been kind of the ceiling of the amount of money I was able to make. And I realized, I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I don't want to be the one that everybody goes to, the one that's making the most money. I want to be in environments and around people that will stretch me and grow me and make me think and give me something to aspire to. So what that meant is going from hanging out with 20 different people on a regular to spending a lot of time in isolation, just doing the inner work. But when I did spend time with up to 5 other people, those being people who really personified the characteristics, the traits, the quality, and the financial situation that I wanted to be in. So those were where some of the major shifts began to happen in changing from, still living in a poverty mindset, even though I had all this education and experience, to really starting to see a big difference in my income and just my different daily practices when it comes to being financially free.